What's happening, people? So, some news from inside HMP Frankland prison. A nonce has been hot watered off another nonce, and he's just been sentenced to an additional 5 years after he pled guilty to this offence, which happened earlier in the year. Now, it doesn't say what the victim, if you can class them as a victim when they're on those sort of wings, but it doesn't actually say who he is or what he was in for. But this happened on the bacon wings, the VP wings, up in HMP Frankland. And the person who committed the offence was Carl Daniel Losh, 32-year-old from Carlisle. And he is serving 18 years. Well, he was serving 13 years with an extended 5-year licence. But for this offence, the hot watering, he's been given an extra 5 years, so he's now serving an additional 5 on top of the 13, so it's now an 18-year prison sentence with an extended licence. But this is actually a parole sentence as well, so he won't be released until the parole board say, although he does have a release date, but it's what's called an EDS, an extended detention sentence. So these sentences, you've got to serve quite a large proportion of the sentence before you're considered for parole. If you don't get your parole, then out of the 18 years, you probably spend around about 15 years in prison. So the incident which happened in Frankland, there was an altercation on the wing, and Daniel, who was actually serving his sentence, I forgot to mention this, he's actually serving that sentence for a series of assaults and 2 rapes. So when you hear stories like this coming from inside the prisons, some people might say, which I do myself, it's a bit of good news, because some people say 2 wrongs don't make a right. But in situations like this, 2 wrongings make a right, because one wronging has been scalded and another wronging is off the streets for a longer period of time. So he won't be out committing offences or grapes against women whilst he's in there, and he'd probably get attacked himself on the VP wings. But it says that on the morning of the attack, he's went and filled his kettle up with hot water, boiled it, then added some yellow substances to it, which will probably be margarine, because in Frankland, or in the high security prisons, they used to use what was called ghee, and they would melt the butter down, because you were allowed to buy big packs of butter on the canteen, or you could used to buy litre bottles of oil. But they stopped doing that because obviously they were getting boiled up in the kitchens, because there is kitchens on the wing with cookers, so you can go in and use these whenever you want during association time. And a lot of the times when someone was attacking another person, they would go in the kitchens, put a pan of hot oil on, boil it for about 30 minutes, as you can imagine, sizzling away, come out and tip it over someone's head or chuck it in the face. And I've seen a few of these attacks whilst I was in front of myself, and they do leave nasty injuries. But on this woman, it says a yellow substance was actually added. It would have been margarine, because you get little butter portions. It's like, obviously, when you go to a hotel or a cafe and you get portions of butter, it's the same in prison. You're only supposed to get 2 every time you go for your meal. At mealtime, you get a couple of slices of bread, they'll give you 2 butters. Obviously, some of the lads save the butters up. There's ways and means around things. They'll save a couple of the butters up, and this is what they melted down, and this is what he's chucked in the other person's face. And it says he went to the RVI with some unpleasant injuries, and it's caused permanent scarring. And like I mentioned, it hasn't said who the other person is, but with him being on a VP wing, he is either in for child offences like he's in for against women or men. I mean, just because it's a rape doesn't mean it's a woman. It could be against a man. A lot of these sickos, doesn't matter who it is, that's what they do, that's their type of offending. And the other people that are down there are snitchers who are from general population or normal location, landings who are there either informed on the other lads on the wings, they've getting into drug debts, or they've been found out that they're in for something hairy, and they've been sent down onto them wings. So these are the type of people that are all living together, and they're all classed as Romans. So when you hear something like this, prison justice, I've got no sympathy for people like this. And this is why I'm bringing these type of stories, and I will continue to bring them, because like I've mentioned, I get all the news either from people inside prison, I get contacted from lads that are in the jail still, I get phone calls from lads, and I get a news feed on the app, which is Prison News, and it tells you all the latest news, what's happening inside the prisons. So when I hear stories like this, I bring them on the channel, because I've noticed the majority of my videos are the ones that have had the massive amount of views, like the one I've done on the two Bacon police officers in prison, David Carrick and Wayne Cousins. That had over 600,000 views. So I'm going with what the viewers and the subscribers want as well. You just want to hear these type of stories, because anybody, doesn't matter if you're a law-abiding citizen, anybody that commits these type of offences against women and kids, doing things or committing crimes, not the way normal criminals are going around committing crimes. These are committing crimes with their man bits, and anyone that commits a crime with them bits, in my eyes, deserves everything they get. They don't deserve to be released from prison, and I'm sure everyone watching this, or the majority of you, will know or feel exactly the same about Romans that use that to inflict pain and injury onto the victims. So two Romans have made a right. And like I say, I will bring more stories. Every time these stories pop up, I'll bring them on, because when I've mentioned a few other stories about VPs being attacked or Bacons being attacked inside high security prisons, the views, the likes and the comments go through the roof. So you're obviously liking listening to these type of videos, because these type of things don't get reported on the mainstream media. And what I mean by mainstream media, if you're watching Sky News or BBC News, these topics won't pop up. But obviously when I'm doing a bit of research, or I'm getting the information from inside prison, or it's popping through on my newsfeed app, then I'll bring it to you lot sitting at home watching these, because you love to hear the stories about the Bacons being attacked inside of prison. And now that I'm off my IPP, I've got freedom of speech to a certain extent. But what I mean by that is I can speak me piece. If you go back on my previous videos when I've been talking about Bacons, I've had to come across more political because of probation. If I came on and spoke like this whilst on licence, an IPP licence, I would be recalled back into prison, believe it or not. Even though what I've said is just my own opinion, an opinion of the lot of you sitting at home as well. If I spoke my mind whilst on IPP, I wouldn't be sitting here now. I'd be sitting back in prison because I've spoke about these beasts in a certain way. But now I can say what I want. I will say these Bacons deserved it. If I did say that, probation would have recalled us saying I've still got violent tendencies. But it's not my tendencies, it's just me speaking my mind, saying what I think about these type of offenders getting attacked in prison. They weren't vulnerable when they're out here on the streets attacking women and children, and now that they're on the other end of the stick and they're being attacked themselves, then it's fair play, prison justice. There's loads of videos that I will be bringing about these, and the ones that I've covered in the past, I will also bring that to the attention and speak my mind properly. But the other beasties that are actually inside HMP Frankland, where I'm just waiting for the news to come through that they've been attacked, is the likes of Wayne Cousins, David Carrick, Ian Huntley, Levi Belfield, just to name a few that I can think of off the top of my head, that are all in there together on A-Wing in HMP Frankland, all having it together, all associating together. So imagine what stories must be flying around between them beasts. But like I mentioned, they're watching the backs every day, these type of offenders in prison. Even though they're on the VP wings and they feel as though they're protected, the general public out here might think they're protected, they're having a good time. Believe you me, they're not protected. They've all of them ones that I've just mentioned there have all been attacked. Apart from Wayne Cousins, he's been battered, but he hasn't been attacked properly, as in proper prison justice. But it will happen, and it will come, because there is offenders in there, like I've mentioned, some of them that have went from main location down to there. They will get fed up of living with them, even though they might be down there for a drug debt or for snitching or whatever. They're still looking at them as though they're on general population or main location, sorry. So they will be looking at them and thinking, like, one morning they'll wake up in a bad mood. They're probably doing life sentences anyway, they've got nothing to lose. So one morning they'll wake up and they'll think, right, he's getting it, and he will get attacked. All of them will. All the Bacons will be attacked in prison, especially the high profile ones, at some point throughout the sentence. Look at the likes of Ian Watkins, proper horrible beast him. He's been attacked numerous times, and it wasn't so long back when he got took hostage and he got a good old beating and a good old stabbing up. So that's what happens to them. But I'll leave that one there for now, people. Hopefully you are enjoying the content, and if you are, remember to comment, like and subscribe. Take care everyone, enjoy the rest of your week.